day, another day of chores, routine, and let's call it chaos, but it's organized chaos. For our busy mums, teachers, and our learners, let's make Shukar be grateful for, what we have been having lovely weather. We had really, really hot weather. We were surely being tested. Well, today was a lovely day, but I believe tomorrow is going back to being very, very hot. May the Almighty make it easy on all of us. We are in February. Yes, in South Africa. It's February school year in the South African school year. For teenagers and high school learners, this is a new year, challenges and new goals. Overthinking and anxiety and common issues amongst teenagers, often stemming from the significant life changes and pressures they face during adolescence, including academic stress, social dynamics, and looming and glooming and wondering what does their future hold, which can lead them to constantly worrying and reminiscing and what is the potential or negative outcomes. If these feelings become excessive and interfere with daily life, it could indicate an anxiety disorder and professional help might be needed. While some level of worry is normal, when overthinking leads to significance, de-stress impacts daily functioning and prevents them from enjoying activities, it becomes concerning and it also becomes a worry, especially if you are a parent. Well, there are so many common triggers, but the main triggers are academic pressure, social anxieties, border image, concerning lots of things. Even the body images becomes a concern. How I look, am I looking good? Are people going to love to me? Something which we as adults must take for granted, but the teenager doesn't. Oh, and also future uncertainties. What does the future holds for me again? Again, little things might be overlooked by us, but not by the teenager. As parents and educators, we need to help our teenagers, our children, especially I would say from 12 years, 13 years onwards. How do we manage or assist them from not overthinking and anxiety, which sometimes can lead to severe depression? Also, anxiety and overthinking can significantly contribute to insomnia, sleepless nights, by creating a cycle where, their worries keep them awake at night, making it difficult to fall asleep and, feeling more anxiety where they actually sleep less, and worry more. Well, our guest in studio, I'm so excited to interview her. She's no first time to Radio Lansar. She was a presenter, many, many moons ago. No, she's very, very young and pretty. Adila Wahid, you used to do a show called, it was a travel and tourism show.
That's right, Sumaya. Travel South Africa.
Travel South Africa. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me. It's always lovely to see you and to be here.
Well, I'm almost 2 decades and you were here 15 years ago?
Somewhere there.
You mentioned to our tech 12 years. You were 12 years.
I was in madrasa when I started working for Al Ansar. So I was about 12, 13 years old.
13 years.
Yeah, in the old studio.
In the old studio. And you ever
in
thought...
Kenilworth Road.
I know now, you do a lot, you achieved a lot, years have gone by, but you ever thought you'll come to do a show like this?
Well, look, I've been invited many times, but I've not been. Yeah. I've actually been here only twice to the studio.
Okay.
So it's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, inshallah, I'm making lots of dua that you come back and have your own show because, I say this always with no disrespect and to offense to anyone, but everyone is so unique in what they do. It's like a builder cannot be a neurosurgeon, and a neurosurgeon cannot build a house. And everyone got a gift in what they do. It's like your show was unique to you, and you knew how to carry it and take it to the next level. And you were one of the very first, I would say, magazine show, more or less.
Yes, lifestyle.
Yeah,
lifestyle magazine.
Exactly. And now when you think about it, there are so many talk shows, lifestyle shows, reality shows, cooking shows. but you are one of the trendsetters without even knowing that. So inshallah, hoping
kind.
that you'll definitely come back one day. And not just as a regular guest, but hopefully to have your own show now that everyone's jet-setting everywhere.
Well, you may never know. I'm one of them anyway. That's always jet-setting.
Alhamdulillah. So who else from the horse's mouth what to do? Simple things like people take for granted carrying shampoo or even currency.
I know all about it.
That's what I'm saying. So inshallah,
Those that follow me on Instagram will know that journey. Okay. Last year I did like more than 15 trips in the year.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Well,
it was quite, it was a good learning experience.
If any of our radio managers are listening, so they definitely need to contact Adila. And don't worry, I got her new contact. So, you don't realize it, but someone just listening out there, no matter how well versed you are at travel, sometimes you might forget something, and the next person who travels might remember that thing, like a simple thing, like maybe moving the plane handle or the seat, or when to use the toilet or when not to use the toilet. And for women, someone messaged me a while ago, what moisturizers to carry when you've got long trips which are over like 14, 15 or even 12 hours. That's something, huh?
Absolutely.
So, inshallah, I will be there, cheering you on, hoping that, inshallah, you will definitely come back. Well, today you are here on a very interesting topic, dealing with insomnia, dealing with anxiety, dealing with overthinking. And this is something we think it only affects us as adults. But the child going into high school, senior primary, they are being affected by these. And one would think, oh no, it's just negative attitude. So what are some of the main psychological and emotional triggers behind insomnia, overthinking, and anxiety in teenagers today?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I want to say that when we talk about teenagers, we're talking about 13 years upward, but it goes right up to your matriculants and even your tertiary education students. And then the triggers, they are further broken down into 3 categories. So we are looking at biological, psychological, and environmental. Your biological factors are the hormonal changes that take place, the brain development, which is very interesting for us to understand the process, because as we know, adolescence is a time of major hormonal fluctuations, especially in the sleep hormone, which is called the melatonin, that can lead to delayed sleep. So the prefrontal cortex of our brain is responsible for our decision making that takes place, as well as our emotional regulation. That is still developing when you are in your early teenage years, during that phase of adolescence. So it makes it much harder for teenagers to then process stress effectively. Then there's academic pressure, perfectionism, self-criticism, self-doubt, fear, judgment. All of this contribute to the psychological triggers that lead to the overthinking. Our young children, and I'm a mom of a teenager, especially today, and of course with social media playing its role here, obsess over their perceived inadequacies of what they think about themselves that's inadequate. They replay these scenarios, simple conversations even, and these interactions in their minds over and over again, especially before they go to bed. And then you have the environmental and social factors, which are key considerations. For example, your excessive screen time, parental and peer expectations, sleep disturbances, unresolved trauma, emotional pain, all of this contribute towards the overwhelm and the overthinking. The blue light exposure, I want to talk about that from our screens, especially when your room light is off and the blue light is on. It suppresses the melatonin production. In the brain, in the prefrontal cortex. And this will delay the sleep of your child and of you and me and everybody else, right? In fact, it does so much more damage than that. In my own personal experience around COVID, I was spending a lot of time at night, especially unable to sleep, overthinking everything regarding COVID, etc. And a lot of screen time, and that light actually affected my circadian rhythm and affected the pituitary gland, where I needed to go for an MRI scan to have it checked out, and I had to go onto chronic meds for a period of time to regulate my vision and balance because I had severe vertigo, also caused by excessive screen time. So coming back to your question, I want to reiterate, insomnia and anxiety, they don't exist in isolation.
Yeah.
It's a result of multiple interconnected factors that take place in the lives of our children.
Okay. Do you know, I tend to have this habit, and I just thought it was old age, getting young. Like when I'm going to bed, I basically put my the brightness of the phone really, really dark. I feel if it's bright, and just saying, you got the habit when you like need to go to the loo, or you like wake up in the middle of the night, and you tend to look at your phone to see the time, and that brightness like awakes you now, so you can't fall asleep. So I tend to put it dark. So like, okay, I can check the time now. So it's okay, because I feel you're right what you're saying, because that brightness keeps you alert, like you become hyped up.
The awareness that the phone is next to you,
Yeah.
that's going to keep you checking
But
all
we
the
all
time.
of us keep our phone next to us.
Move it to another side of the bedroom. But then coming back to our youth, our youngsters, that light is affecting the brain development. That's affecting their production of the melatonin, which yet is still in the phase of developing. So imagine the damage that it does to that age group.
Exactly. And you know, technology is a good thing, but if you think about it, the whole world is going AI and online. I mean, if you look at a normal private or ex-model school, there's subjects like iPad. There's lessons where the learners at home need to be online constantly. As young as I think probably grade 1. So what you mentioned is makes so much of sense. From an Islamic and psychological perspectives, how can parents and caregivers support children who struggle with sleep issues and anxious thoughts? Well, I know lots of mums who are listening will think like, okay, Panada syrup is not working.
Especially when your daughter is 16 years old. Okay, so from an Islamic perspective, Allah Ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, and this is one of my favorite verses. I even have it written and stuck up in my room, handwritten by me. Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find rest. And that is in Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. So this verse highlights the power of zikr, which is the remembrance of Allah in calming the heart and mind. So something as simple as that, as a parent or as a caregiver, if you could encourage your child to read that every day or every evening or repetitively, when you see they're going through something, that alone is going to bring a calmness to the heart and mind. Parents can also integrate faith-based coping mechanisms alongside the psychological support. So I'm going to share with you quickly 3 steps that I recommend that will help your child. Create a sense of safety and support for your children. That needs to begin at home, in the comfort of your home. Validate your child's feelings so that they are able to express their emotions and discuss their challenges with you without being scared of the consequences or your reactions. And if you do not, as a parent, provide that safe space, trust me when I say this, somebody else out there outside of your home will become their safe space, and they will end up being redirected to that person whom you may or may not necessarily be comfortable with. You may discover things about your own child or children through people outside of your home and family unit long after experiences may have taken place. And this might leave you feeling distraught, disappointed, confused, either in yourself for some parents who take accountability, and then in your children and to others. Another dua is Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Bi Rahmatika Astaghith. O ever living, O sustainer, in your mercy I seek relief. This can heavily reduce symptoms of anxiety and insomnia. In fact, I encourage all of my clients over the past 8 years to read this. You can encourage your child to read this repeatedly, especially when they are experiencing this. Breath work also brings relief. The diaphragmatic breathing or progressive muscle breathing before sleep time is definitely something you would want to teach your child. You can allow them to watch it once on YouTube, put the phone away, and then practice it thereafter.
And when you're busy cooking?
And when your child holds a vision in their minds, that vision is followed by thoughts. So you hold a vision of a scenario, for example, that took place at school, and then that is followed by a thought. Those thoughts are then followed by emotions. And if that vision was negative or is negative, disturbing, disruptive, then you can imagine what the thoughts and emotions that follow will be for them. So long after the experience took place, they're now reliving it in their bedrooms. So it's advisable to teach your child the significance of healthy, more positive visualization, especially before bedtime, which helps them to regulate the thought, image, and emotion, which will reduce the stress, overthinking, and insomnia. It's like flipping the screen. So if they flip the screen, that will change their perspective and feeling before going to bed. If there's one thing that has helped me, Sumaya, in my life, in my daughter's life, in my clients' lives, both young and old, over the past years, and that is journaling. Because let me ask you the question, when you wanted to become a teacher and every other skill set, and when I've studied and when everyone else has studied and our children study, they have to put pen to paper. Yes, I know now we're using the fancy iPad pen, etc., but it's pen to paper that allows the reiteration through making notes from the textbooks. So similarly, when we want to teach the brain to understand a new concept, a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, we need to train the brain to consider these new thoughts. It's not going to just happen, okay, I no longer want to be anxious, I no longer want to be sad, I don't want to overthink this. It's never going to happen. So journaling allows you to train your brain over a period of time to consider the new thoughts, which then will convert to beliefs after a period of time. So I recommend daily journaling. Begin with a list of things that you're thankful for in your life, your home, your education, food, transport, electricity, water. Start with the small little things. Friends at school, your cell phone even, if you need to be thankful for it. And thereafter,
I think that everyone is very
everyone's
thankful.
going to start with that. And then journal the thoughts that overwhelm you and then break them down further. I personally teach a step-by-step journaling program to my young adults that come to my practice. And I've seen a huge shift in their lives, in their habits and thought processes. The third recommendation is instilling lifestyle and sleep hygiene. If you want your child's melatonin to be regulated, they have to cut down the screen time by a certain time. So the digital detox does wonders to increase your child's mental, emotional, and physical health. So the combination of Islamic mindfulness, which is the zikr and du'as, and then the other recommendations are definitely going to help reduce the symptoms that your teenager is going through.
And we as adults can also do this. It'll probably, it'll benefit.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many adults that need it, but since we're on the School Matters show, we're going to stick to the target audience.
Different facets of life, parents, learners,
and hope that the parents are listening.
You know, as the last function where I met you, I think it was like a 71-year-old person told me, "Oh, you Sumaya Khan, I listened to your School Matters." I'm thinking like, okay, you got grandchildren. No, I just like listening. And you mentioned a show. I think I did. I think it was in December about the grade 12 learners, and I was like, you will be totally amazed. So you never know
and who your audience is.
Exactly who your audience is. You know, I think listeners, we will be taking ad break.
This summer, dine big to win big at Chippewa Spur. Spend 350 Rand or more in store and stand a chance to win prizes worth 12,000 Rand from Hershey's Springfield. Prizes include a Rest Assured bed, a DeLonghi coffee machine, and a Kenwood food processor. Enjoy legendary tastes and great wins. Entries close January 13, 2025. Exclusive to Chippewa Spur. T's and C's to apply.
Almost 1 in 5 South African children attend school each day without having eaten breakfast. This seriously affects their ability to concentrate and understand lessons. The Al Imdad Foundation's Make Breakfast Possible campaign allows learners to enjoy a high-energy cereal at the start of the school day. Help children to focus on learning and not hunger. Let's make breakfast possible today. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
You are listening to School Matters with Sumaya Khan.
Masi sondele, pila no kolo, helele.
Subhanallah walhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. You can say it once or 100 times or more. You feel at peace inside and it'll open every door. That's the power of remembering our love. It's the best way to purify your heart. You know you will be loved by the merciful one. 'Cause that's the power of remembering our love. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah walhamdulillah. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. So much you can gain just by saying those few words. You can renew your faith and be showered in reward. Oh, that's the power of remembering our love. It's the best way to purify your heart. You know you will be loved by the merciful one. That's the power of remembering our love. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Alhamdulillah. Masisondele, masisondele biwala.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to School Matters. Yes, with me, Sumaya Khan. We have a full house. We have Sister Adila Vahed, our mental health coach. You know, we've been chatting about insomnia. We've been talking about, overthinking and the stresses our teenagers or our child from 12 years to 13 years onwards go on. You touched on vital key points, and messages are coming through. One would not think that zikr, meditation, prayer, breathing in and out can assist you, because we think now we need to go and see a doctor and take a medication to feel better. But simple things, going back to being grounded, like walking on grass with no shoes, we wouldn't know that that's therapy on its own. Yeah. And how do subconscious beliefs and thoughts, patterns contribute to anxiety and overthinking in teenagers, and how can they start shifting their mindset?
Okay, so before we talk about how they can start shifting their mindset, I think we need to focus on understanding how the subconscious mind works. So the subconscious mind is storing our deep-seated beliefs that shape how we think, feel, and behave. So when we're having a negative subconscious thought or programming, especially in our childhood, then the anxiety and overthinking will come up. So, for example, if a child has experienced rejection, criticism, or failure, they would then develop the belief of, I am not good enough. And this is what we then call past emotional trauma. If parents frequently emphasize perfection, a child may grow up believing, I must be perfect in order to be loved. And this is what we call parental or societal conditioning. So these embedded beliefs are created over a period of time between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And once it's embedded into the belief system, this can create overthinking later on in life when they are applied to their adult life. So children with limiting beliefs will magnify their mistakes, which then fuels their anxiety levels as well as their overthinking and self-doubt, because the subconscious mind constantly replays those past past events in an attempt to fix them, which then causes sleep disturbances. So a way to help your child is teach him or her how to replace those limiting beliefs with more empowering statements. So I personally do the Louise Hay Positive Statements card collection, which I offer in my practice. And I'm going to say one of them, which is saying something as simple as, I am capable, worthy, and enough exactly as I am. And I recommend that you stand in front of a mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth or you're combing your hair and you're checking if you're looking good enough to go to school, and repeat those kind words to yourself, because you'll be surprised how repetition every day over and over again, that I am capable, I am worthy, I'm good enough exactly as I am, is going to replace some negative belief system that is sitting in the subconscious mind. It's going to shift the neurons in the brain, and it's definitely going to bring about a self-improved belief system. And again, journaling, powerful, insightful questions help a lot. For example, what am I believing about myself right now? What is this belief that I'm holding on to? Is this really true about me? Am I capable of changing this belief? And do I want to change this belief? It's very important to ask questions to the mind, because that then works into a new neural pathway of thought, which could sooner or later bring positive results. Because remember, you're going to ask yourself the question, and you're not going to accept the belief that something's wrong with my looks or my body or etc., whatever it may be. You're going to ask the question, is this really true about me? Am I capable of changing this belief that I'm holding on to? The subconscious mind is a powerful tool that can definitely help reduce anxiety. When you shift core beliefs, our teenagers, our children can reclaim control over their thoughts. And Sumaya, I've seen this happening with my clients. I've had clients aged 13, 14, right up to 21, those that are studying and or completing their degrees, etc. Practicing all of these step-by-step tools that are provided has changed their state of mental health, physical health, and emotional well-being.
You know, when you're younger, you don't tend to think about it that way. But as you get older, you think about it. When you think about positive things, and you affirmations and stuff like, I can do this and I'll achieve that. And you tend to focus on that in your mind. So you're quite right when it comes to shifting your neurons and thinking, you know what, I can do it, like never giving up. And you do achieve it. When you think of many people who are successful, but again, success is different in everyone, Success might be someone having a nice car, or having some qualification, or just being thin or fat, like picking up weight or losing weight concerning your health and your diet. So if you think what you want, you tend to achieve it. What they say, the universe tends to draw it towards you.
Look, there's very fancy words that people are using today, universe, affirmations, etc. But it's so much more deeper than that.
Clear.
It's so much more deeper than that. And it's understanding how your brain works, understanding your childhood, understanding your filtering systems, understanding everything that child has been exposed to from a very young age through to teenage, then to adult, adolescent, adult. There's so many factors that contribute towards someone's mental and emotional. Saying something will not be good enough. There has to be so many other contributing actions that one has to take, intentions that one needs to set in order for that change to happen. And it has to start from the parent. And the parent needs to then encourage the child to look at these different ways of changing and shifting their emotional states.
Yeah. Well, listeners, since we have Sister Adila Vahadia, she is talking about positivity, how to overcome anxiety, stress, insomnia, how we can assist our child, our young teenager, from all of this. In studio, we also have School of Performing Arts, Changing Faces, Speech and Drama Academy. When you think about it, a young child might lack confidence due to various reasons. Even a teenager, motivational speaking to themselves, how can I do this? Can I do my homework? You have young children who are fearful, who are afraid to speak up or to do anything. And as parents, as educators, and even as counselors and health coaches, we tend to forget that it's so important to instill these life skills, social skills in our children. So our representatives, our tutors from the School of Performing Arts, we have Brother Gupendra, Jak Prasad, and we have Ahmed Abrams. Welcome to School Matters.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, yes, you guys have a speech and drama academy right here, not very far from the Al Ansar studios. And, when you think about it, when we were in school, speech and drama was a luxury. It was only for those who could go and not everyone. My tech is actually smiling about that. So tell me, why did you guys open an academy, especially coming down from humble beginnings?
Okay, so thank you for having us on the show. We were actually the Speech and Drama Academy has been around from 2013, and we noticed that there was a need for this coming out from the school system. I'm actually from from an educational background. My mom is actually a founder of preschools. My sister and my brother-in-law are both educators, and I was also in the education field myself. And we noticed that there was this lack of confidence and public speaking from our learners. So we decided that we need to do something as an initiative to make sure that our learners can actually be more confident and be more develop themselves in the creativity.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know, to promote teaching and learning through a form of art, role play, poems, dramatization, to allow the youth to express themselves. So why would you say this is so important for the child of today, as Sister Adila mentioned, when it comes to screen time, when it comes to all the ills of society, the depression, the insomnia, the anxiety, how can they control themselves? How would speech and drama help a child, a normal child, I'll say, a child who everyone experiences highs and lows in their lives by doing speech and drama?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, in this technological age of technology, children are usually stuck to a phone or a laptop or the TV, and sometimes they miss out on effective communication. Playing outside. When we were little kids, we used to play outside with other kids. This doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I used to love going out and playing cricket or, going to the park with my friends. This doesn't happen anymore. And in the Speech and Drama Academy, we develop all of these skills, social skills that is otherwise lost to technology.
Yeah. I heard of your academy. It's something which is humble, which doesn't charge an arm and a leg and a toe and a finger when I'll say for the fees. I mean, you're right here based in Asherville, if I'm not mistaken, and David Lando, and you'll cater to the public, to the normal working class parent. Your whole goal and aim and intention is to uplift that child, for that child to be an adult who's competent. So what does your academy achieve at the end of the year from the learners?
Okay, so our academy shapes young minds holistically and teaches them creativity. We do it through different genres of art, and it enables these children to have their self-confidence and self-esteem. And you picked on the fees. Yes, we are actually from the community, and we actually started this initiative to give back to the community and basically look at the community that supported us when we are growing up.
Yeah. When you mentioned David Lando, if you are in Overport, Sydenham, Asheville, around Morningside, David Lando was like a preschool, and it's noted for the hall, the community hall, where the library is next door. So there were a lot of community humbling events, educational projects, which started at that very
That's correct.
Okay. Zach, we will be taking a short ad break.
Is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, International Humanitarian Organization.
حديث أديه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلاة عماد الدين. Salah is a pillar of deen. Salah is the most important form of ibadah. When we perform our salah, we are showing our obedience to our Creator. Salah is the key to Jannah.
This hadith is sponsored by Ashraful Aid, International Humanitarian Organization.
Are you looking for a meaningful way to fulfill your zakat obligation? Look no further than Ashraful Aid. With our trusted track record, your zakat reaches those who need it the most in the most honorable and dignified manner. Visit our website at www.ashrafulaid.org.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Ansar.
Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an opened one.
Join Sumaya Khan every Tuesdays between 7 and 8 p.m. for an educational evening exclusive to Radio Al-Ansar.
Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead.
حبيب الله يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله يا رسول الله هذا الرسول إذا يبسم ترى الأرض نورا فلا تظلم هذا الرسول إذا يبسم.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to School Matters. Yes, with me, Sumaya Khan. I have a full house. I have a mental health coach. I have speech and drama guys. I'm a teacher, and there's other guys here in studio, not forgetting Zach. So definitely education really plays an important role. Going back to our mental health coach, our motivational speaker, life coach, I don't know whether I mentioned all your caps, Sister Adila. How does, AccuDetox, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, therapy and holistic coaching helps in reducing stress, promoting sleep, and calming an anxious mind?
Okay, so it's called AccuDetox or auricular therapy.
Okay.
That is basically putting 5 points, 5 needles in each ear. Okay, it's acupuncture of the ear that I do.
Is it dry needling?
Yes, it's in each ear, and it goes into specific points in the ear. And I do it mostly before exams for a lot of my students. It balances the nervous system. It stimulates specific points on the ear. It regulates your cortisol levels. It reduces the stress hormones. It promotes relaxation. It improves sleep cycles. It stimulates the melatonin production. It releases emotional blockages, and it helps process unresolved trauma. So what happens is those that cannot manage. So through the coaching process, if you really cannot manage and you feel that, and there's also people that are on medication, I want to stop taking the medication. There's teenagers, believe it or not, that are on so many different chronic medication for emotional, mental, physical relief. The acutherapy has helped reduce a lot of those symptoms. So it's a non-invasive, non-verbal way of helping those that don't feel like talking. I don't want to talk about my problems. I don't want to tell you what's going on. Okay, no problem. We put the needles in. It's a 45-minute treatment, and it has made a huge difference. So there's a lot of subconscious reprogramming that takes place. It just literally helps in so many ways. So that's a holistic approach for many that want to consider helping their children with overthinking, anxiety, and insomnia.
Wow, by you just mentioning that, I know I've went for dry needling. I know lots of teachers. I think it's a teacher syndrome. You need to calm down, or you have that neck pain or that back pain, and you need to do something. So adults.
Yeah, definitely. Look, the needles that you put into your body by acupuncturist, that's for inflammation and physical pain. The one that goes into the ear is for emotional detoxification. So it's specifically working with points in the ear that are directly linked to emotional states and in the brain to do all of the things that I've just described. So yes, it is effective. Of course, there's many adults that come to me for that over the past several years. It's something I do on my own for my own family members, and the results have have been amazing.
And you definitely have to be a pro if you're doing it and there's results
there's
coming out.
qualification.
Exactly. Not everyone has the art or the skill of doing that.
Sure.
In that way there. Kupendra, your school is very different. Can you tell us why Changing Faces, School of Speech and Drama, what is so different? What does the curriculum entails?
So, Chia, assalamu alaikum, and thank you for having me on your show. Why our school is so different, our academy is so different, is because we support skills development as well as we do educational resources. So, some of the educational resources that we do are these trumpeter books that we've been approaching schools with in all of the district of Overport and Sydenham so far. These are offered to all the schools from grade R to grade 7. So far we have had amazing response from all of the schools that we have approached, and inshallah we're looking forward to approaching more schools. And if parents do want to get their hands on a copy of these books, they can also find us at Changing Faces Academy on a Saturday morning.
Okay. Kupendra, I'm quite excited. School matters. I steal from the rich and I give to the poor. Yeah, I know I don't really work proper marketing over there. But I believe you have something for our listeners. You got something free to give, not one listener, not 2 or 3. You have an offer since Radio Al-Ansar is based in Overport, neighboring, not very far from Asheville. You want to give us something. So can you tell us what you want to give to the listeners out there?
Yes, so our fees are at the moment, they're quite, reasonably priced. But I think for the first 10 listeners that actually signs up, we are going to give them discounted fees to the Speech and Drama Academy.
Wow, and I heard that discounted fees, if I'm saying, is like 60% discounted. So,
yes.
Wow. Your contact details, if listeners would like to contact you.
Okay, so they can contact the administrative members. It's 078 340 4800 and 083 727 0227.
Okay. Parting words to our listeners. What would you like to tell them other than standing there and just talking and singing and being, motivating speech and drama? But other parting words.
I think that it's important that we look at our kids and we identify the need for these classes and the need for these educational resources. And sometimes, in our Indian communities, we might think of something like this as being taboo, but it's not. I mean, we don't want our children to be out there in the world being children that can't be creative and function properly in a workplace. So that's why we're giving this opportunity for the learners to come through and express themselves and open themselves up.
Okay, Adila, parting words to our parents, our learners, our listeners, our educators. Yes, educators are so stressed, all around.
So my message would be to the parents to pay more attention in your child's life and to zone in or tune in to their emotions and their mental state and their physical. So pay attention to everything. Don't just be so busy in your own space that you're not paying attention to whether they're oversleeping or they're doing something differently out of the norm. Ask questions and be involved and create that safe space so that they don't find it outside of your home and in somebody else.
Well, I'd like to say, Jazakallah, thank you for our guest for being here in studio. To Sister Adila, you're definitely coming on again. I'm telling you this now. So whatever you're doing, you'll definitely be cooking egg chutney again to come on. Yes, the sacrifices for doing community work. And also like to thank Ahmed and Kupendra for coming on here. And definitely, I know we're going to have listeners who are going to contact you guys. I know you guys are going to be on Friday on the Feel Good Friday show.
That's correct.
And you all are definitely going to give out freebies.
So actually, before we go, Ahmed would like to... we've discussed it, and I think for three listeners.
Okay.
Yes, for 3 lucky listeners between grade RR and grade 7, the first 3 callers that call in and give out their details will get a pack of a trumpeter books pack for them.
Wow,
Jazakallah.
alhamdulillah, jazakallah. So I think definitely, you should contact and listen to the show again, Feel Good Friday with Sister Bibi Amina, and you'll definitely get something for your children or your family, or even if you're an educator. I'd like to thank our tech Zach for making this show possible. My email address is sumayakhan.alansar@outlook.com. You must be extremely direct with an overthinker because their minds create too many scenarios and they start analyzing each of them. When you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. That's where your power is. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the, courage to continue that counts. Assalamu alaikum.
The views and opinions expressed by the presenters and guests of Radio Al Ansar are